I'm Joe Kane.
And I'm Wayne Heckler.
And this is the Imperfect Podcast.
Don't forget to check us out at hecklerkane.com.
And sign up to become an Imperfect Podcast Insider.
To the bumper. Today's guest is Robert Sciglimpaglia. He's an actor in theater, film, TV, commercials, a voiceover artist, an executive producer, as well as a practicing attorney. Talking about diversity, huh?
Yeah, the guy does a lot of stuff. He's very informative. We met him a few months back at the AFM, and we were able to procure him to come on to the show and give us some information from a lawyer standpoint and from a producer and an actor standpoint. The guy's kind of done it all in the business, which is kind of nice to hear.
He's in a cool commercial that was voted 21st best commercial for the Super Bowl, actually.
Yeah. He's working on a project right now called I Am, which ironically I don't think we actually got to on air. So let's make sure everybody goes out and checks that out on his site. So I Am is the name of that project.
For any filmmaker, he's really a must to listen to this guy. He had really good advice. He's a guy who did things from experience. So it's really very informative, I found.
Yeah, he's sold a whole bunch of stuff at this point, and he's gotten his projects funded. And he just kind of gives the advice on how to go about doing that. I mean, in this day and age, it's very difficult to try to figure out how to get your project money, how to get money behind your project. And he kind of gives you good pieces of advice. So let's go hear from Rob. Rob, welcome to the Imperfect Podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad you were able to call in tonight, Skype in tonight. Yeah, we met back in the AFM a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago at this point, actually. And we made contact, and we've been back and forth a little bit. So tell us a little bit about yourself, basics on how you got into the movie film industry.
Sure, yeah. I'm actually an attorney, and I started doing voiceover work about 12 years ago.
I see you did I'm sorry. I see you did so much on the voiceover, right? You're doing a lot of things. LA Dodgers, Mountain Dew, Avis, Budget. I was looking you up saying, all right, he's doing a lot of stuff.
Right. I'm going to put him on the spot. You do any character voiceovers?
I did a couple. Yeah, I did a couple of anime and smaller characters. Nothing big on like Disney or anything like that. So
okay, yeah. It's coming, guys. Well,
my next question is, can you give us an example?
I've got to really put him on the spot.
Really put him on the spot.
Well, I can do accents and stuff.
I got you.
Like
I won't
accent,
really
like Forrest Gump, like that that kind of stuff. But
very cool.
Whatever. I look at the character and I kind of come up with it.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. It's just like on camera. It's the same kind of. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Make
it's very
your
similar.
own.
I mean, animation's a little more over the top, which is nice.
It's over the top. You're putting your voice in other places like wouldn't be in. Like I always think of why am I forgetting his name? He's Caesar in he does all the motion capture stuff.
I don't think we know.
Drawing a blank. Anyway, he does Schmiegel and
Gotcha. Oh yes.
Like he does all that live, but it's in essence he's doing a cartoon voice.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean it's. I mean, acting obviously you're trying to be real on camera but with animation you're really taking it to the
surreal,
to the next level. So
you're looking really for surreal.
Real up there.
Yeah,
So,
and you don't have to worry how you look while you're doing that particular voice. You could do anything, make your face look the weirdest, anything to get that sound.
I try to be in my underwear anytime I'm doing voiceover work.
Yeah, he likes to dress.
Yeah, well that's true. That's for all voiceover. It doesn't matter what you look like. So yeah, exactly.
So Rob, you got into the business. You started out with
let's
the voiceover
start back
stuff.
to school. So a few things that we have in common. You went to a Catholic high school, then when you went to college, you actually had a scholarship for baseball, right? But what happened with that? I know something happened. You had an injury.
Yep, I got injured. It was a freak accident. It was like right at the beginning of the season, and we some friends of mine and I decided to go down to the beach because it was St. Petersburg, and we were following a couple of guys on a motorcycle, and some woman decided she wanted to take a U-turn like from the right lane, went right in front of the motorcycle, and they ended up like hitting. And so I ran out of the car, like we ran out of the car, and the motorcycle was the handlebars were up underneath the fender of the car. So a couple of us it was leaking gas. So a couple of us grabbed the motorcycle, and I instinctively I just grabbed it, and I grabbed onto the muffler. So I burned my freaking hand really, really bad.
Wow.
So I was out 2 or 3 weeks, and then by the time I got back, my arm was just
not the same.
I couldn't throw. I threw it out. So that was the end of my. So what I did was I transferred up to UConn. I played there.
And I also went to UConn, so I saw that too. I'm like, that's
Nice.
two things very interesting. I went for my master's though in music and stuff like that. But I saw that. Oh, that's interesting. And then what do? You have a pretty interesting story. You led to the law business. What'd you do?
Then I went to law school. Right after that, I decided I wanted to be a lawyer, and I was practicing. I'm still practicing now, but I was having fun making money. Well, I was working a lot of hours. Okay. So I wanted, and I life was going by, so I was starting to get toward midlife. So that's when I decided I always wanted to be an actor. Yeah. So I went into the voiceover business. I checked it out just by taking an adult ed class just to see what it was like, see if I liked it, and I loved it. Nice. So from there, I went on camera. It was pretty quick, like within 6 months. When I was starting to do voiceover work, people were like, "Yeah, you should get your headshot done and just see what happens." And so I did, and so I started doing acting work, and then I started taking I got really into it. Started taking a lot of classes, and I still take classes now. And now I'm producing films. I just shot a film this past weekend. Nice. With actually a DP that I met out at AFM.
There you go.
So film out from LA.
And what's the name of that one?
It's called Within and Without.
Okay.
And it's going to be a really special film. From just judging from the shoot, the actors, beside myself, the actors.
Yeah. Well, we do want to talk about that. Really let's get back because that's the project you're working on right now. Let's talk about One, which is a project that you had sold at AFM, I believe, the year before. Or a couple years before?
I sold it to the one of the distributors that was at AFM.
Gotcha.
But
tell us about that.
That's actually one of the reasons I went there, to go meet with those guys. I had met with them before, but they wanted me to come out to AFM, so to start promoting the film and start making more contacts. So that's in post-production. That's going to be done in April. Nice. It's almost done, and I just secured very recently Evan Evans to compose. He's Bill Evans' son. Bill Evans won a Grammy back in the 70s. And
course,
he was the piano player for Miles Davis. And he agreed to do the original score for me, and I'm really, really excited about it.
That's cool.
So he's working on that now. It's in post. It's all shot. It's pretty much done. It's it's going through its final passes. So April 30th, we're shooting for it to be finished, cool. Which it should be.
Just coming up soon.
Very soon.
We're both musicians too, so that is exciting. Even just to hear that score is worth it alone. Check this one out.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to checking this film out.
He doesn't care about the movie. He just wants to hear the music. Now you've excited him.
The music will be great. I mean, and sure Lance Henriksen's in that film, so I was able to get him.
Very cool.
Okay.
It's already sold, like you said, so we'll see where it goes. Yeah. I'm excited about that.
Let's talk about the process of actually selling a movie. Our listeners are primarily filmmakers who are interested in the process. And how do you go about taking a movie and going, okay, I'm going to sell this? Like, what are your first steps?
Well, I always I advise filmmakers too as an attorney, so that's actually how I got into the production world.
Nice.
Because I did if you look at my IMDb, you'll see I've done a bunch of films as just attorney, where I was just production attorney. So now I can advise filmmakers, and what I tell them is to start backwards, start from the back end, figure out where you want the film to go, and then work from there. So if your goal is distribution, you have to set up the film in a way so that you're most likely to get a distributor interested in it.
Correct.
So that is it. Not necessarily getting a name, but that helps. Getting a name for cameos. That that anything you could do to generate buzz, getting a good composer, all those things help generate buzz on the
It's
distribution.
also, I suppose, writing the correct script that's going to be affordable and have the right elements in it that a distributor would look at and go, oh, I want that. Not another, of this movie that has been out there a million times.
Well, exactly. I mean, genre's huge, obviously. Like there's certain films that you sell easier than other films. So that's something that you should research.
True.
And know about, or and talk to other people to find out, or talk to distributors to find out what's hot now, what's hot, what's not, so that you don't waste the money doing a film that's in a genre that's not going to sell.
Yeah.
So that's another part of it. Like doing the research first, and then you can. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's easier to get the elements together to get a distributor interested in the film once you work backwards. So if your goal is to put it in festivals, that's fine too. But you need, you have to think about that too, because like if you're going to try to get it into Tribeca or one of those big festivals, you're probably going to need a name at least to do a cameo part.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to know that, like I'm sure you guys know, Tribeca is not going to take the film if it's been released anywhere on the East Coast.
That's right.
Yeah, you have to be set up previous to make sure that we're trying for Tribeca and this is it. This is for this.
Right. So don't screen in some little dinky festival, in wherever that on the East Coast if that's your goal. So you have to know that ahead of time, and then if it's in Tribeca and it gets accepted, then you'll get the interest and you'll get distribution if you don't have it already.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's you just have to be smart about it and plan it out, and then it's not as difficult as you think to get a distributor, because there's a lot of them out there. They all do different things. They all are looking for material. They're all looking for 4K's hot now. Like they're all looking for 4K stuff. So
right.
I mean there's many avenues to be seen these days if you do it the proper way.
Right. Excellent. It makes a lot of sense. I know what you mean. Work backwards, like set your goals first. Like if you're going on, right, you know what you want to go to film festival, you know, want to go to distribution. It's just very intelligent. I like what you're saying. And that probably comes from all your education. As a lawyer, you did things very methodical. Is that the word?
Experience too. I mean, a lot of filmmakers are just really excited about making the film. So they're like, oh, let's shoot next week. And they do it. And then, oh, now what do we do?
Right.
So I got to tell you, a lot of people we've talked to, and they go, what are you doing with the film? I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping some miracle somebody goes down to my basement and sees it on my screen when I'm showing it on to my family.
Right. Exactly. You have to have a plan. You have to have a plan on how you're going to get it bought if that's your goal. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're just making the film, like student films, you're just making it for class, or if it's a short film that you're doing, that just to test out equipment or whatever, that's fine. But if it's a commercial film, if the goal is to sell the film, you have to think about how to do it.
Exactly.
And by the way, I spent $50,000 on one.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it's not a huge amount of money, and I got Evan Evans and I got Lance Henriksen and got a distributor. So it's
putting the money in the right place.
Right. Excellent.
Exactly.
If you know what you're doing, right? You got to be focused. You have to have a real plan, like you say.
Well, that's why you need the plan, because if you don't have a plan, then you're not going to be able to budget, and you're going to start spending. It's going to spin out of control. So you have to focus it so that you're spending what you need to spend in order to sell your film.
I think this is like great advice for our listeners. Like this is something everyone should know. It's just, I mean, it almost is common sense, but for a lot of people, it's not. So I think your experience is not common sense. It's actually from experience. But I think you're doing a great job sharing that with us. Let me ask you this question. When did you, because you also were in a commercial, a pretty cool Super Bowl commercial, right? Yes. That was one of the 21st greatest commercials. I watched it and I just laughed. I said, see, this is a good one. I remember it, but when I saw it again, then of course it's like seeing it for the first time. And it was pretty funny. It made me laugh all over again. So that was pretty cool. Tell us about that. How did that happen?
Oh, sure. I mean, that's another one of those funny stories of how that came about. I had done a play with the actress that plays the mom, my wife, in that spot.
Yes.
And I'm playing in a golf tournament, and all of a sudden my phone buzzes, and I look over, and it's her name's Jamie. It's Jamie, and she's like, would you be my husband? That's what the text said.
I didn't know I made such a great impact on you. Impression, I mean, yes.
And I text back and I said, you do know I'm married.
I have to now delete this phone.
Yeah, she goes, yes, I know you're married. I want you to be my husband in a commercial.
Nice, that's cool.
So I said, well, okay, what is it? And she said it was a spec commercial for Chevy. It was a commercial that was being put into the London Film Festival contest. So I said, well, let me see the script, and I read it. I read the script. I loved it. I saw the writer's previous work, and I loved it. So I'm like, yes, I'll do this. Absolutely.
Awesome.
So we shot the commercial. They put it into the contest for the London Film Festival. Next thing we know, Chevy took it out of that, and they put it into the contest for the Super Bowl because they loved it so much. And then it actually won the contest and got chosen to air during the Super Bowl.
Nice.
And it became a SAG spot. So I made tons of money on it. It became SAG, because of, I was already SAG like 6 months before, but it made me eligible to join SAG if I hadn't been in.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
just
really...
because of a spec spot, and just because I had done a play with another actress who.
It's amazing how like your paths cross with people that you meet, and you go, okay, I met this guy here, I met this one here, I met this here, and then all of a sudden you start getting phone calls, and you start, hey, I met you at the AFM, and now we're on your podcast.
Right. So, that commercial taught me a couple of things. Number one, whenever I do a job, I always do it like from 100%. It doesn't matter what kind of job it is. If it's a student film, it's an experimental, I don't care. I give all my 100% because I want those people to work with me again at some point. Yeah. Right. And if you're half-assing it and not giving your all, they're not going to want to work with you again. So, or if you're being difficult on set, all those crazy things, that's the first lesson. The second lesson is that you never know where your projects are going to go. Right. When you show up on set, you just do your job, and then it's out of your control. It could go to Super Bowl. It could, who
anything
knows?
happens,
So you just got to do I do my best for those two reasons, because you just never know. So.
Right. If you call yourself an actor, no matter what, you have to give your all. You're right. You never know where something is going. I just want to say that was really funny when the guy's in the commercial. Actually, I just want to comment on it because I was laughing. It's just like he's so excited. It's like this. Like, should we tell him? And it's like, no. Wait till he runs out of steam. It's just so funny. And then the next whole we're getting married. Like, it blows so out of control so fast. And I just loved it, man. It was really cool. So that deserved it. You were good in it. People check that out. Any listener, check out his commercial at his website, which he'll give to us later. But check it out; it's pretty cool.
Well, now getting into the distribution end of it and making the contacts at an actual distribution place.
Sure.
What is the process that you go through? There's people who go out there and they send blank, letters and form letters and go, okay, well, and make phone calls. And do you have a specific type of process that you've gone through to get your distribution?
Yes, it happens different ways. One of the most important things that a filmmaker should do is put their project up on IMDb. Put it up, it's before you make it. Put it up.
Okay.
Say it's in development. I've heard filmmakers do some kind of crazy things where they'll put like a bunch of names as rumored to try, which is kind of. I think it's kind of fraud, but they do that to get the buzz on the film.
Yes.
So, but you want to have exposure, because like Adler, the place that is distributing One found me.
Adler and Associates.
There was like 3 or 4 places that were me because I had Lance. That's the reason.
Okay.
So I knew going in that Lance is really big in foreign sales. He's like really big in Japan, and he is the sci-fi guy.
Oh, nice.
So, because I'd done a couple of films with Lance before I did one, so I knew that distributors would be interested in that film because of him. So that's one way to do it. So that's one of the reasons why it's worth the money to pay for a cameo for a name, because you can get that. You can generate the buzz. Same thing it's along the same lines of putting rumored up
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're getting a bunch of names and saying rumored, even though.
Well, if you actually
don't
get them
even
as the cameo,
talk to
they're
'em.
actually in it, so that's a little better than rumored.
Oh, exactly. But it's the same idea is to generate the buzz so that the industry starts to
Sure.
recognize and the distributors start to recognize the film.
That's
And
it. My
one
next
way to do
film,
it.
I'm putting
Right.
rumored Tom Cruise. I don't care what it is.
No, a lot of times if it's a project,
beyond
if a project suits somebody and they hear like, hey, maybe that is a pretty cool role, you could end up working with them anyway. That happens a lot also.
It's an all-female cast, but Tom Cruise is rumored to be in it.
That's even better. I like that better, Joe.
Well, the other thing about names is if you have the money, you could pretty much get any
Correct.
name you want anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if the script is good, project is good, and you have the money, that's the key, like getting the money.
Absolutely.
So, and that's the chicken and the egg game is getting the money, getting the actor, getting the distributor, and getting the financing and lining them all up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a I call it a puzzle or a juggling game or whatever. It's
There's a
you have to
skill,
get
a
them all
real
aligned.
skill to it. Right. There's definitely real skill to
it's
it.
delicate.
It's
Yes,
delicate.
it's delicate.
Well, when we saw
But
you
it's
back in
doable.
AFM, you had literally
doable.
walked out of a meeting with your distributor and gotten a distribution deal on a second film that you haven't even shot.
Financing deal.
A financing deal. Sorry,
Nice.
Yeah.
Good
a
work.
financing deal with
Yeah.
for that, and you were very gloating and happy at that point, which I don't blame you.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. That was another thing that was out of the blue.
Nice.
Because when I like I said, Adler asked me to come so I can talk to them more face to face and to update them on what was going on. So when I went there, I got the platinum badge so I could be there for the whole week.
Nice.
So I was there like Wednesday actually, but I went up and talked to Mark Belasco, who was my contact at the distributor, and he's like, you should go and start at the top floor and get your law cards and walk around and hand them out to every single place, every single exhibitor, over the next couple of days. And he said, especially people that, production companies that are presenting because then they're trying to sell their film.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you'll end up with clients.
Right.
So I said, okay. And he was right.
Good.
So that's what I did. I started at the top. I went all the way through the whole place. I gave out a whole bunch of cards. I got a whole bunch of cards. One of the places was Bitcoin.
Nice.
Okay.
Bitcoin funding, and they were there. So I gave them my card and I started talking to them, and they were like, "Well, do you have any projects you're working on now?" And I was like, "As a matter of fact, I am," which also reinforces the Boy Scout motto: always be prepared. To me,
Yep.
because I had the folder with me. I pulled it right out. I was like, "Yeah, I am actually." And here it is. Here's the budget. Here's this. I'll send you the script if you want it. Here's the top sheet. We sat down. I told them about Adler. I told them about one, and so then they said that they're interested in financing that film.
Nice.
So it was totally unexpected. I wasn't there. I mean, obviously it would be great if I could have done it, but I wasn't there. That wasn't my goal. My goal was just to make contacts and to hand out my cards.
Which is ironic because how
So,
many
and
people
I
are there?
I got a lot of.
Sorry.
No.
I was saying it's ironic because how many people are there going, I need to sell my film. And you're like, here's a card. I sold my film.
It's excellent. See what happens when you have a strategy,
exactly.
right? You don't know where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about making the contacts for me. Like when I make the contacts, I know that first of all, I'm not there asking for anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm there just literally to make contacts with them and meet them, so that if something comes about in the future where we could work together, great. But I'm not there. That's the other thing that a lot of filmmakers do, and pretty much all artists. They look like hire me. You need to do something for me. Hire me. Give me money. It's more about what you can do, what you can provide to them, like the service you can provide to them. Then it becomes a kind of a two-way street, and then it makes doing everything much easier. So it makes getting financing easier. It makes getting your distributor easier. It makes getting your actors easier. All of those things.
I actually got that piece of advice that,
Right.
go in with the attitude, what can I do for you? And that's
Right.
I got that advice pretty recently. Actually, just before we went to AFM, and that was like a whole thing. Like, what can I do for you? And that was kind of our look on how it goes. We can provide this. We can do this. We can help you with this, and you get a lot better reception with that. So
exactly, because you're acting like you're a partner with them and not needy.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Not what you could, I need you to do this for me. No, that's not. That's the wrong attitude.
Right. That's the wrong attitude. Exactly.
We're partners. I can help. I know that you can help me, and I can help you. It's much. I mean, people are more receptive to that. It's that's the way the world's built.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the way people get ahead, is by helping. You have to help other people. I mean, and that's what filmmaking is about anyway.
Right.
Or law. It's about it's about others. It's giving your message or giving advice. So that's how you meet people, and that's how you get them to want to work with you. So.
Right.
Excellent.
It's funny. One thing I really admire is because you did it also the right way. It's almost like the way you were saying to get the film made is almost what you did. You became a lawyer because now at least you could finance yourself. Because, in real life, you can't just jump into the film industry and say, please make this. So it's like you feel settled first in your life. And it's like, wait, but I really love film and I want to make it. And now you found a way to combine the two. So you feel free enough that you have the money for sustainability. And now let me bring this creativeness to it. And now you linked it. You could do both. You're selling yourself, helping others sell, and yourself. So kudos. I do mean that.
Robert,
You're doing well.
tell us how people can get in touch with you. Twitter, websites, and keep track of your career and how you're doing.
Sure. Yeah. My website's Rob Paglia, PAGLIA.com. That's my SAG name.
It's your SAG name.
Or they could go to ROBSCIGESQ, RobSkig-esque.com. That's my law site. I'm basically Rob Sig across the board, ROBSCIG, Twitter, Facebook, all the all the social media sites. I'm on IMDb, so you can look me up there, and it's easy to find me online. I'm all over the place.
Excellent. Excellent.
Hey, so I know we're wrapping it up, but I do want to give you one shot. Just the most current things that you're working on right now that we didn't discuss. Is there anything else in the pike for you right now?
Oh, I have so many projects. I'm doing a pilot too, which I actually made a contact out at AFM who's a production company from New York.
Nice.
And so it's funny. I set up a meeting with them, even though I'm right here, I'm in Connecticut. I'm like, I go into New York all the time.
Sure.
But that was one of the reasons I wanted to meet them. But they're a legitimate TV. They have a lot of TV contacts. So that's another project that I'm working on I'm close to getting the financing for the whole series.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do 10.
All right.
Nice.
To shoot. So, and a lot of buzz around that too. So that's another project that I'm working on. So, and I have a couple of short films that I want to do in the next few months. So,
all right. Nice.
I have a lot going on.
Yeah, it sounds very exciting. We both wish you well, in both careers, law and the film. And so we definitely wish you well. And definitely, guys, please check him out. Look at his website, his Twitter, all of that. And I just want to say you were very informative to our audience. If they take heed of this, look out, Hollywood.
Thank you very much. Yeah, anyone who needs help. I mean, I can help any filmmaker that just wants to chat and get advice, and I'd be glad to do it. So,
sounds good, Rob. Thank you so much for spending tonight with us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.